With regard to artificial intelligence and other technology, what are your thoughts on how you regulate how it's used? You had spoken about having the idea is great, but what do you do with it? So what are your respective thoughts on government's role, individuals' roles, so that it is controlled and doesn't break loose like a Michael Crichton book?
Yeah, so so putting my business owner engineering hat on, start early, and you can read that in any book and you say, I'm going to do it my own way, but no, start early, learn, ask. In our case, this is a FDA Class 2 medical device, and there's a lot to learn when you go down that path. And so you can. It's not insurmountable. I think that's the challenge is really, gee, we look at this and it's an ominous thing, but it's something that is you can do. You can really achieve these regulations. It takes a long time. There's a lot to it, but it shouldn't really get in the way of innovation if you plan accordingly.
Well, I'm not worried about that, and I would say we shouldn't be worried about that because someone went into a school in Florida the other day and shot 16 people. So, like, humans are way more dangerous than neural networks as far as I'm concerned. And it's not a machine learning or artificial intelligence that's going to do it. It's humans behind it. It's not the gun that's killing people, right? It's the people. Whatever the argument is, I can't imagine that we're going to sit here and create regulation that's going to prevent people from doing evil things with software, because that's all it is software. So I don't think this is something that, just like, you know, how are you going to regulate Bitcoin? It's not a US thing. It's a global thing, cryptocurrency. So I don't think this is regulatable.
I'll give an example of how I like how the federal government is taking the approach that they are taking for IoT and standardization of IoT. And what they have done is NIST, the National Institute for Standards and Technology, part of the Department of Commerce. Instead of coming out with regulations and standards around IoT, what they have done is they have actually formed a group of industry and academics in various kind of areas, wireless and healthcare and agro and others. And they are influencing, they are driving, but letting the industry and academics come together to kind of start defining the standards. IEEE plays a critical role in there. I think too early a regulation stifles innovation. We have seen that a lot. Too late a regulation also creates problems. We have seen that with how the cities have reacted to Ubers and Airbnbs and tax in the cloud and everything else. So I think there needs to be the right balance, and hopefully, you know, we as a humankind will be able to find that right balance as we continue to progress in technology. But the key thing is the innovations are, the cycle of innovation is much faster now than it was 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. And is the public sector apparatus, you know, moving that fast, or will be able to move that fast? I don't think so. I mean, bureaucracy is there for a reason. And one of the things that I always have observed being on both sides is we continue to regulate the 21st century innovation through 20th century bureaucracy. And as we start kind of evolving, and I've seen private sector leaders now getting into the public sector and trying to change the culture and thought process. Lots of millennials, lots of Gen Ys, Gen Xs are coming into the government who are now native technology, kind of, you know, digital natives. So we'll see those things change. It's one of the last industries to change, but I'm very hopeful.